Hello, this is James from Easterseals, and today this is our final series in which we're going to be talking about defending yourself with keys. Now, I mentioned before that there's a lot of wrong ways in which you can defend yourself with keys, and in general, it's not the best thing to use. However, in the last video, I talked about the correct way if you're in close combat is to really kind of do a fencer's grip where you lay one key like this and put your thumbs down where you can slash and stab at very vital parts of your body. Once again, this would only work if you're in close range. Let's say the curtain is giving me problems again, this is the part that works. It does not work at all over here. Nothing's going to happen. The curtain is not impressed. However, if you have a lanyard, now this is still not a good long range weapon, but this is a decent medium. And if you have a lot of weight behind your keys, I can start doing some damage. You gotta be very careful though. So, when to effectively use your keys as a lanyard. Once again, this is not a great self-defense tool. First of all, if they grab your keys, and now they have your keys, how are you gonna get home? It's not great. It's a good last defense if you have no other option. Like, I wouldn't aggressively look for trouble like this. But let's talk about hypothetically if you had to use this. First off, one of the things you want to do is you want to hold it like this and then pinch like so. That way I can throw it, but if somebody were to grab it, I can immediately let go. Well, how come? Why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to kind of wrap it around like this and keep it like this? Now, if somebody were to grab it, they can start moving me wherever they want to go, or they can bring it back and they can kind of choke me with it. You don't want them to take advantage of it. So, if they grabbed it, you just let go, and now you got a free hand. Maybe you want to punch them at that point. You don't want them to use, well, I mean, if they have the keys at that point, yes. But that way, they're going to be grappling. It's kind of like, think of it this way. It's like, if this was around your neck and they grab this, they have complete control of you. So the same thing could be said is if you don't have an exit out with this, they can just drag your hand and they might completely throw you off balance. But if I hold it like this, I can easily let go. So that's one way you want to hold it. Now, this is not entirely accurate, and this stuff can bounce you back pretty fast. So for example, if I'm swinging like this, some of you might have saw it in the first video, I was throwing a strike and hit my chair and immediately hit me in the thigh. Now it could hit me somewhere else. That's the problem, is that once this strikes, I'm trying to think of, 1 second. Okay. So if this strikes, this is just like a pad. If I hit this, all of a sudden, you don't know where it's going to go afterwards. It might actually bounce back and hit you in the face. That's one of the giant problems with this, is that if it hits you, you don't know where it's going to go. And if I whip and then I come back, it might hit me in the groin or in the thigh. So that's one of the big problems of this. Now, what I would recommend is this is the best tactic for like a hit and run. What I mean by that is if I have this in my pocket and I feel like there's trouble coming, and I just kind of put my hand like right here. I'm like, all right, and now I'm right here. What I can do is I can go over and whip right in the face. Once I see them making, if I hit them in the face, and if I have a lot of keys here, that's enough momentum that it's going to really hurt. It's probably not going to knock them out, but they're going to feel that, they're going to put their hands over their eyes, and you run. This is not going to work because this is a perfect mid-range weapon, but once you get close range, it has now become utterly useless. I cannot do anything with this anymore. I would have to switch to using my close quarters combat with this. But if I'm over here, this is useless. You can get one good hit, and then maybe another hit, but it's not going to be effective. So you kind of keep your hands in your pocket on this one. Once again, it requires some setup. Or you can just grab it right here if you're in a rush. One strike. The other option is to go low. You come over here, pull out, groin. So let's just talk about the figure four for a minute. So when you were kind of whipping with keys, you do the X pattern. If you saw my previous videos, you saw me doing this with the eskrima sticks, where you go X, X, same thing. Now you can do this just with your wrist, or you can use it with your hands. Now this is going to generate more power. Now I'm keeping my hand in close because I don't want to get hit by this. Or I can just use my wrist. They both have pros and cons. This is generating more power, but this one is faster, and I feel more in control with this. Now, if I want to go the other way, I do a reverse X. It's a little bit harder, but I come in. I need to mentally kind of prep it. There we go. Yeah, okay. That one's a lot harder to do. You kind of have to do some mental math on that one. But what I would recommend is not to repeatedly strike. Because also, think about it this. If I come in and I go and it goes a little bit over me, it's going to hit me in the back, but it's not going to do damage. This is only going to do damage really in the face and in the groin. Other than that, if I get hit really hard with this in the shoulder or in the back, it's going to sting, but it's not going to knock me down. Remember, all you want out of a self-defense is to knock someone down so you can run. That's all. You don't want to stick around. If somebody is threatening you, you want something that has stopping power so you can just run. That's it. That's all you want. You don't want to be in control the whole time, because the more time you're there, the more chances that you're going to get severely hurt. Get out. So, once again, I would recommend two options. I mean, if you have your keys out, let's just say you had your keys out right here, you know. Quick up to the groin, so I'll go a little bit slower. Up, and just goes right there, and then run. The other option, do come up to the face. Surprisingly, they might not see it coming, but they will see the next one coming. So if you do one, all of a sudden, when they see it, if they tackle you, this thing's useless. This is not a good self-defense weapon. It's a good shock tactic. Shock, and then just run. Groin, and then just run. So, to kind of recap this video, keys are not the best self-defense weapon, but they are better than nothing. You don't want to do the Wolverine tactic that you'll see a lot of self-defense, because this can end up hurting you more. The fencer's grip with one key is very good close quarters combat. It's pretty useless in mid-range and far range. With a lanyard, now you got a defense with medium range, but I would only recommend one giant strike, or one giant strike like that, and run, and that's it. The best defense is having an escape. Honestly, that's the best thing you can do. Do not put yourself in positions in which you have to defend yourself. Is really the best option. I know that can be frustrated when we're talking about self-defense, but realistically, it's the best option. I've probably said this quote over and over again, but I really like what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said. If you don't know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is, he was a very, very famous basketball player in the 70s. And he was like way taller than me. Like he would probably hit his head on the ceiling. And he did martial arts with Bruce Lee. And you figured like a big guy like this would know how to defend himself. And he did. He was very good at martial arts. But somebody asked him, goes, what would you do if someone had a knife on you? He goes, oh, I'd kick him in the groin and run. And it's very surprising considering how big of a man he was. But even he, who was this dominant figure, still said, I would kick him in the groin and run. Because the more you put yourself in that position, the more likely you're about to get hurt. The faster you escape, the more you can live another day. Hope this was informative, and I hope you enjoyed this series, and I'll see you next time.